You guys read that Belichick story in the Globe?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not really newsworthy, and we got other things to talk about. Bill's done this before. It's not really new, but what can I say? I can't help myself. I want to start with it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you read the thing. I think it's proof as to why he'll never get a statue as long as the Crafts are alive. I mean, this thing is as icy gets, the relationship between Bill Belichick and the Crafts.
Okay, what stood out? Before I start reading excerpts, well, just, your opening thought. Bill Belichick to Ben Volen in the Boston Globe. I guess the headline there is that in college football, there's no owner's son that you have to deal with. Okay, I guess that's like the headline quote. But either way, Mazz, what was your takeaway on the interview?
Okay, so there were two that I have. The first is kind of obvious, but we've all said versions of this a million times over the years, but I feel it's important to say it again. Bill's an ass. He is. He's an ass. I would love to add a second part of that word, but I can't because that part of it's not allowed if I put them together. But what an a-hole. Seriously, the guy is a raging a-hole. He's an ass. He always has been an ass. He's a great football coach. He knew what to do with Tom Brady. He won Super Bowls, but he's an ass. Period. End of story.
What was assy about his comments here? I mean, this is an obvious question, but go ahead.
Just the need to still throw people under the bus, to be completely oblivious to the realities of why they won. And again, he says that, things got in his way, basically, or he implies that with ownership, management, the more complicated it got, the harder it got. When the reality is that he ran the whole thing for the large majority of the time. He lost control over the organization, which is why power was taken away from him. There's no accountability. There's no real self-reflection there, at least publicly. And this was going to lead to my second point, he is so vain. He is so vain. Bill is the smartest guy in the world who knows how to win, and if everyone stays out of his way, it'll be good. Like that to me was sort of the message of it. People get out of my way, and I know what I'm doing, and we're going to win. As long as people stay out of my way. So it was it was disrespectful really to anybody who was in New England with him. I feel like it was kind of a warning shot to the people at North Carolina. Stay out of my way. This is how I do it. He's an a-hole. He is. He's an ass. The guy's been an ass his whole life. Why should he stop being an ass now?
Murray, you have a thought?
Yeah, the piece is pure BB, and by that I don't mean pure Bill Belichick. It's pure big baby. He's a big baby. It's always everyone else's fault. Everything Mazz just said, too. Stay out of my way. I'm going to do it my way. So it's family interference, complaining about that at the pro level, and that's why, he's no longer coaching in the NFL. The usual shot you get at this point against the Crafts. Funny, no mention of the young Floozy who's running his life on and off the field, but I'm sure that's why Ben got the exclusive anyway, because, to do this, I'm sure he's like, don't ask any questions about her. But yeah, he's not over it, and he's never going to be over it. And look, maybe if you're still rooting for him, I'm not one of these people. I hope he falls flat on his face at UNC, but maybe this motivates him to have a good program down there, and he gets that team into the playoffs. But yeah, I just think he is a big, bitter baby.
Okay, exclusive interview. Ben Volen, good job, goes down to Chapel Hill. Gets Bill off to the side and writes the following. Dateline, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, standing in a quiet hallway Wednesday inside the Kenan Football Center, University of North Carolina football coach Bill Belichick is asked how he would define success with his new program. A winning record, a spot in the college football playoff, beating Duke, beating NC State. Quote, I don't know, Belichick grumbles, just stringing the days together. He goes on to say, as Ben gets him to talk a little bit more about the differences between college football and the NFL, and if he's enjoying himself, Bill said, quote, I enjoy it. I've always wanted to be in college football, Belichick told the Globe in an exclusive interview. Go ahead. You can weigh in on that.
What a crock. Please. That was on his list to coach in college football? Really? When? Do you ever remember him saying that?
Is that why he was calling the Jets at the end of the offseason to see if the Jets would bring him in for
liar.
a head coaching interview?
It's a lie.
Guy who was groveling for an interview with the effing Jets now says, I've always wanted to be in college football?
I mean, it's amazing that he can still evoke and I guess I'm speaking for myself, this kind of reaction in me. Like, I read that because that line, I went that way. Would you cut it out with that crap? Like, what a load of garbage.
I've always wanted to be in college football, Belichick told the Globe. I grew up in college football. This is a great university. It's a great opportunity here. The kids are great. They work hard. They want to be good. And they try. Working with a lot of people I like to work with, and I enjoy coming to work every day. That's an important quality of life. Implying he didn't enjoy a lot of people that he had to come to work with here in New England. I mean, he did his best. He loaded the team, loaded the Patriots with cronies and kids of cronies. I mean, that was the whole staff.
Yes.
And it's still a lot of holdovers.
Right.
I mean, Matt Groh's still here. Elliot Wolf is a kid, scon of it's his whole staff here was cronies, kids, and cronies' kids. And he's tacitly complaining about at UNC he gets to work with the people I like to work with. I enjoy coming to work every day. That's an important quality of life. So he's also delusional.
So can I ask you one thing before you go on?
Yeah, please.
The part about the kids are great. They work hard. They want to be good, and they try. Like, okay, now, I don't know what the tone of that comment was, because I can say it as in, they try. Or was it, and they try? You know,
it was the first thing, and at least they try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what? He's now mad at the players who were here at the end that got him fired, that they didn't play hard enough for him? Is that what that was?
Again, it's always someone else's fault.
I know, it's unbelievable. Really. It burns up for him at the end. He ends up in North Carolina. Nobody in the league wants him, and it's everyone else's fault. It's never him, ever. He never looks in the mirror, ever.
It is insane how he simply refuses to acknowledge his shortcomings or mistakes.
Oh, my gosh.
It's pathological. Volan writes that UNC has allowed Belichick to build his staff with several familiar faces from his Patriots days, including Tar Heels general manager Mike Lombardi, linebackers coach Jamie Collins, strength and conditioning coach Moses Cabrera, and, of course, his sons.
Of course.
But what's the difference here? He was allowed to do that here.
Correct.
And then some.
Correct.
To a fault, he was allowed to do it. Anyway, Bill says, quote, it's a much more cohesive and I'd say unified view of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. It's a lot of football and there's not much in your way. What is he talking about? What was in his way here when it came to his staff?
Kraft.
He was allowed to hire any Tom, Dick, or Harry who was beholden to him, or any Tom, Dick, and Harry's kid who would be even more beholden to him. That was the entire staff. Cronies, kids, and cronies' kids. That was who he hired.
Correct.
And he's complaining that where he is now, it's a much more cohesive, unified view of what we're trying to do.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it is pathological. And then there's this. Volan says Belichick still has people to answer to at UNC, the chancellor, the board of trustees, deep-pocketed boosters, but he is finding it easier to create a shared vision than he did in the NFL. Quote, there's no owner, there's no owner's son. There's no cap, everything that goes with the marketing and everything else, which I'm all for that, but it's way less of what it was at that level, Belichick said. Generic NFL teams, you have the owner, president, general manager, personnel director, college director, pro director, cap guy, and some other consultant, then the head coach. I'd say when we had our best years in New England, we had fewer people and more of a direct vision. And as that expanded, it became harder to be successful. End quote. You have got to be kidding me.
It's the most insulting part of the whole thing.
You dick.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's why N'Keal Harry was drafted in the first round?
Yep.
In 20. So that was because in New England, you, unlike your best years, when you had fewer people and more of a direct vision, that expanded. It became hard to be successful. So that explains N'Keal Harry. That explains Cole Strange. That explains what? That explains losing records 3 out of the last 4 years and 4-13, and that's what that explained. The lack of a shared vision. You've got to be kidding me.
No, because again, people forced him to do that, don't you know? Kraft intervened and told him to take Mac Jones, and Bill didn't get to run it the way he wanted to anymore. He's an ass. He's an ass. He's been an ass his entire life. He doesn't know how to be anything but an ass. And just quickly, too, the whole idea of, it's a more unified vision. No, it's not, Bill. Don't kid yourself. You have to answer to the board of directors and all those other people, too. I say board of trustees, not board of directors.
Whatever.
But the people that Volan listed. There are people to answer to in North Carolina. You already have had to answer them for Jordan Hudson.
Yeah, but
so don't delude yourself to thinking that somehow everybody's going to stay out of your way, because at the first sign of trouble, they're going to dump your ass, and that's going to be the end of it.
Well, they probably already should have, considering everything that happened there, or at least I would have, but then I have my bias. But I don't know. I think he has a pass right now because a lot of these hillbillies are enamored with him. That there's Bill Belichick. He's the winningest dang coach ever. So, yeah, he probably is unified right now because they all think he's a god.
See, Murray, I disagree then. I'll tell you why. Because I don't think they were all on board hiring him in the first place. I think
maybe not some of the trustees.
Yeah,
but I think those guys at the top of the school, I think, were all for it.
There was some division there. We're going to go from Mac Brown to Bill Belichick. I'm telling you, the first sign of trouble, those people who didn't want him there will then have the ammunition to get him out. So I don't think it is 100%. I think they were kind of desperate. They felt they had nothing to lose. And I don't think there's the support for him there on the level he thinks. Obviously, he got the job. But that thing with Jordan Hudson, don't you think they were already questioning whether or not they should have done it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, this idea that, all of a sudden he's in Belichick utopia. Everything's perfect because it's Billville. He's out of his mind. He is. He's delusional. The guy's got a problem.
He just can't help himself. He does absolutely have a problem. Absolutely. He's pathological. And
holy crap.
I would say this, though. I didn't think that I would care about what he did at UNC. I said any team in the NFL, I'd care. I'd be invested. He'd have a chance to prove himself, have another chapter, answer his critics, try and answer what Brady did post Belichick and have his sort of moment where he could either prove himself or fall on his face. I was all for that. At UNC, it just wasn't possible. That's what I had said. Now I feel differently. I think that, between the Jordan Hudson stuff and just the way that he's carrying on, I think there are stakes now. For me, now, this is all a long way of saying, bring it on. I'm interested in watching him at UNC. And I'm interested. I'm rooting for him to have success, because I think that's a better story. I think that would be great. I think if he had so much success that he got an NFL opportunity, that'd be great. Be great for us, be great fodder, a great thing to follow. So that's what I'm rooting for. That's what I want. I want him to knock it out of the park there and get looks in the NFL. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's over for him. I don't think he's going to have success there, but I want him to. Either way, I'm engaged. I'm interested. They open with TCU in 2 weeks.
Correct.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's go Heels, or whatever they would say down there. I'm all for it. If he can look like this delusional, obstinate, completely arrogant, out of his mind, horny, old, half nuts old man, and go 10-1 and go to the NCAA playoffs, that's a cool story. Yeah, he's nuts, but the old guy still got it. I'll take that story.
Sure.
4-8 is less interesting to me, but I know that's what Murray's probably rooting for, yeah?
Oh, 1,000%. I want him to fail miserably. Because I'm rooting for me. I know that's probably better for the show if he's good, and this is me doing the old J.O. Thing under the table with my right hand. F him. I want him to fail and fall flat in his face.
What do you think the owner and the owner's son?
It's still a story, though, either way. Either is a story. Because you'll just put a pin in all these comments. That
unnamed players saying he's too old for this by week 3. Oh, please give me that.
Well, I'm saying is, now he's carrying on right now. There's no owner, there's no owner's son, there's no cap, everything that goes with the marketing and everything else, which I'm all for, but it's way less of what it was at that level. Generic NFL teams, you have the owner, the president, general manager, personnel director, college director, pro director, cap guy, some other consultant, and then the head coach. I'd say when we had our best years in New England, we had fewer people and more of a direct vision And as that expanded, it became harder to be successful. Now you have all that, presumably at UNC. Let's see what that looks like, Bill. Now that you have that, now let's see what you got. But it is the height of delusion. You have to be on planet Uranus to sit there and believe that you had your best years in New England when you had fewer people and more of a direct vision versus you had your best years in New England when Tom Brady was your quarterback. You effing fool. How delusional do you have to be to believe that the reason you didn't have success wasn't because of Tom Brady leaving, but because Robin Glazer was sticking her nose in there? That's really what you want us to believe? You old fool. But if that old fool goes 10-1 and wins the ACC and goes to the NCAA tournament, that's cool. I'm into that.
Sure, it's a good story. I agree, and it's a good story either way.
But what a dick. You've got to be kidding me.
But to your point, didn't he actually have less resistance and that's why it went downhill?
Listen, no one stood in his way for a long time. When you're allowed to hire Matt Patricia as your offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, and Joe Judge was he the quarterback coach?
Yes, basically.
That knucklehead as the quarterback coach, so you're complaining now that people were standing in your way and there wasn't a direct vision? You dick. Seriously. But let's see how that all plays out. I mean, the chutzpah of this guy.
Unbelievable.
You've got to be kidding me.
Unbelievable.
So I know it's an old story, but I love it. He's still at it.